I'm doing that. Here it is, man. Don't move. Don't move.
This is not a comeback story. It feels more like watching a woman step away from ruins, while everyone else struggles to understand what just happened. After losing so much that once defined her, Teyana Taylor did not sit in front of cameras to cry. She did not ask for pity or explain herself. Instead, she chose silence, which is often the boldest move in the public eye. Her life once looked complete. Marriage to Iman Shumpert, a family, and a love story shared openly with fans who believed in it. Then everything fell apart. Divorce headlines appeared, smiles covered deep cracks, and people online said she would be fine. Strong women are always expected to survive quietly, until the pain becomes too heavy. Later came Aaron Pierre, a gentler phase filled with red carpets and unspoken connection. Many thought this was healing and a fresh start. That hope faded quickly. Another split followed, then disappearance. No interviews, no clear reasons, only silence and sadness hidden in vague posts. Then suddenly she confirmed a new relationship. No details, no photos, only one clear sentence. This time she is protecting her peace. That single line shocked the internet. Fans searched for clues, judged her choices, and twisted the story. Through it all, she stayed calm and quiet. That silence feels unsettling, because it suggests this story is far from over.
Oh, don't move, you're moving. Don't move.
In the world of fame, silence is never meaningless. It carries weight. It sits quietly, gathering tension, waiting for the moment when it changes everything people thought they understood. This story does not start with romance or excitement. It begins with loss. Before gossip sites turned her life into guesses and timelines, Teyana Taylor was seen as rare in the industry. She was focused, careful, and private. She built her reputation slowly, step by step, and refused to turn chaos into attention. That discipline earned respect, but it also made what followed far more painful to watch. Her marriage to Iman Shumpert was presented as balance. Two public figures choosing love without turning it into a show. Family pictures felt calm, proud, and real. Fans believed they were seeing proof that fame did not have to destroy relationships. The media leaned into that idea because it needed a healthy love story. Then things began to change. There was no public scandal at first. Instead, there was distance. Fewer shared moments. Less warmth. The shift was felt long before it was explained. By the time divorce headlines appeared, the real damage had already happened in private. After the separation, many expected a public breakdown or a loud explanation. That never came. Teyana did not run to interviews or unload her anger online. She chose withdrawal. In a culture obsessed with drama, that choice was risky. Silence became her protection, but it also invited judgment. When a woman does not explain her pain, people create their own stories, and those stories are rarely kind. Speculation filled every gap she left open. Then came a new chapter. When Aaron Pierre appeared beside her, the mood shifted. This connection felt gentle and controlled. There were no loud declarations, just quiet presence and natural chemistry. Fans believed she was healing. Many said she finally found peace. But healing does not always move at the pace people expect. That relationship ended quietly, just as it began. There were no accusations, no dramatic exits, only absence. Once again, she stepped back into silence. That quiet became suspicious to outsiders. Vague captions and tired expressions turned into evidence for theories. Sadness became content for strangers. Fame has a cruel rule. If a woman does not name her pain, the public will decide what hurt her. Months passed and attention drifted elsewhere, but something was forming in the background. Then she confirmed a new relationship. There was no interview, no photo reveal, no details. Just one sentence shared on her terms. This time she was protecting her peace. That single line changed everything. Protection suggests danger. Peace suggests past harm. Suddenly, the story no longer felt soft or romantic. The lack of information became the headline. Fans did not wait for facts. They searched for clues. Locations were examined. Jewelry became proof. Reflections in glass were treated like sightings. Flights were tracked. The internet turned into a surveillance machine. Convinced the truth was hiding in plain view. Soon, curiosity turned into accusation. People said she had upgraded. They claimed she only chased money or status. Years of commitment and quiet endurance were erased, replaced with harsh labels. What shocked many observers was her response, or lack of one. She did not argue. She did not defend herself. There were no carefully crafted statements or subtle online attacks. Nothing. In gossip culture, silence after accusation usually signals collapse or control. Those close to the situation began whispering that the secrecy was not about drama. It was about safety. Not just emotional safety, but something larger. Rumors spread that the man was not part of entertainment at all. Others suggested he held influence that required privacy by design. Some hinted that revealing his name would force uncomfortable conversations in powerful spaces that preferred darkness over exposure. Through it all, Teyana remained calm. She did not perform happiness or fear. That steadiness unsettled people who expected either celebration or breakdown. This was not a reveal. It was a refusal. A refusal to explain herself. A refusal to feed a system built on consuming her pain. When truth is held back long enough, its release does more than inform. It shakes foundations. This chapter is not about who the man is. It is about why his identity matters enough to protect at all costs. When the confirmation surfaced, the internet did not celebrate. It attacked. Not because she moved on, but because she did not ask permission. Old chapters were dragged back into the spotlight. Her marriage was reframed as strategy. Past interviews were clipped and twisted. Her relationship with Aaron Pierre was rewritten as a temporary step instead of a real connection. Love was removed from the story and replaced with ambition. Anonymous accounts hinted that the new partner was insulated, unseen because his world does not overlap with fan culture. Screenshots appeared and disappeared. Posts were deleted. No leaks survived. In an industry where secrets travel fast, this one did not move at all. That suggested control. As theories grew darker, so did the tone. Familiar labels returned, aimed at her character instead of facts. Yet one contradiction remained. If this was about attention, secrecy made no sense. If it was about status, anonymity worked against it. Silence only makes sense when attention is the very thing being avoided. Some industry watchers began to see her calm not as indifference, but as discipline learned through pain. The internet does not reward restraint, punishes it. Still, she did not bend. That silence began to feel deliberate. Not weakness, but a statement. And behind the scenes, the topic became untouchable. Posts vanished. Conversations stopped. It was no longer just gossip. It was fear. Because this story was never only about love. It was about power, access, and consequences. And the public has not yet realized how serious that makes the ending. The harder the public pushed its version of events, the clearer one thing became. She was not playing along. This was not a launch, not a makeover, and not an attempt to clean up a damaged image. It was control. Control only exists when something important needs guarding. That is the cruel irony. The same online crowd demanding openness was asking it from someone who had already paid a heavy price for living in plain sight. They wanted entry into a space she had clearly decided was no longer open. That choice carries weight. When the truth eventually appears, and it will not feel like gossip. It will feel like disruption. It will force people to question every assumption they made while filling in the gaps themselves. This stopped being about romance a long time ago. It became about power, about who is allowed to step back, and who is punished for protecting themselves. As the noise grew louder, another truth became impossible to miss. Whatever this relationship represents, it was never meant to be consumed by the public. The longer it stays hidden, the stronger the reaction will be when it surfaces. Secrets do not disappear. They wait for the right moment. The real shift did not come with a name, came with fear. The story had grown beyond casual talk. It was no longer about who Teyana Taylor might be dating. It was about who suddenly did not want to be mentioned at all. Something changed online. Accounts that once posted nonstop went quiet. Long threads vanished without warning. Influencers promising big reveals suddenly changed topics. That was the signal. This was no longer being ignored. It was being avoided. In celebrity culture, avoidance means something. Empty rumors do not scare people into silence. Power does. Behind the scenes, excitement turned into caution. Publicists stopped responding. Bloggers softened their language. Words like unconfirmed appeared everywhere. Even the loudest voices lowered their tone. The closer people got, the more resistance they faced, and resistance means boundaries enforced by something stronger than opinions. For years, Teyana had been treated as strong but accessible. Her life was examined, judged, and consumed. Her marriage to Amon Shumpert was public enough to invite commentary, yet private enough to keep respect. When it ended, she handled it quietly. No public battles. No messy displays. Then came another chapter. Her connection with Aaron Pierre was labeled a rebound by outsiders who wanted a clean storyline. When that ended, people felt owed explanation she never promised. What followed was punishment. The internet does not punish mistakes. Punishes people who deny access. So when she confirmed a new relationship without details, it was not seen as growth. It was seen as defiance. And defiance from women who refuse to perform pain often triggers attack. Question her. Undermine her. Shrink her story. That plan failed because she did not react. No defensive posts appeared. No emotional speeches followed. No leaks softened public opinion. Only continued quiet. Silence paired with confidence unsettles systems built on exposure. Over time, a new idea surfaced. This was not someone hiding shame. This was someone protecting value. The focus shifted away from fame and money. Attention moved toward influence, toward circles that do not overlap with gossip culture. People began using the word protected in private talks. Not protected by image management, but protected by structure. That matters because image control shapes stories, while structure enforces consequences. If anonymity equals power in that world, exposure would not be annoying. It would be dangerous. The strangest part was that nothing leaked. No photos, no accidental sightings, no second-hand confirmations. In a time where secrets last minutes, this one lasted months. That alone said everything. Meanwhile, her public presence became sharper, not louder. Appearances felt intentional. Her words were careful. She spoke about peace without selling the pain behind it. She set limits instead of offering explanations. That made people uncomfortable. Audiences are trained to expect closure through confession. She refused. So others tried to finish the story for her, calling her calculated, distant, manipulative. None of it stuck. There was no mistake to grab, no crack to widen. Without reaction, the story stalled. And a stalled narrative is dangerous because it does not end. It waits. Those watching closely believe the truth will not arrive through gossip. It will appear indirectly, through association or consequence, not announcement. When it does, it will force a full reevaluation of why the silence mattered and why distance was necessary. Teyana did not lose control of her story. She took it back, even though it meant being misunderstood. She chose restraint over spectacle. The internet wanted access. She gave nothing. In doing so, she revealed something far more unsettling than any name ever could. Some stories are not public property, and this one never was.